Well, the 2021 season is just about set to start, and Matador basketball is first up. Coach Charles Harral joined me on the Bullring. And, Coach, it's a different year, obviously. We're talking about in January starting the year instead of hitting the midway point when we normally would. With everything that's going on that's difficult, what have you been most excited about being back on the floor?
Just being around the guys, it's was tough the first semester, just having to see them once a week on Zoom and not being able to be with anybody but my one player from Yuma, Chris, in the gym a couple times a week. But definitely glad to be back. It makes you not take, just normal things for granted, practice, games, all the fun stuff that we did that we hadn't been able to do from March until about a week and a half ago.
So we're adjusting to a lot of these new protocols, new rules, and then of course you came in on January 4th and gearing up for snow on January 20th. So it's pretty much here before we knew it. What has been the greatest challenge you feel like in getting these guys ready to go?
Well, I think conditioning is the greatest challenge, especially in playing somebody like Snow, who's had their players on campus the first semester. But I thought that would be a good game and will be a good game for us to kind of see where we're at. I mean, anytime you are going to play a team that's practiced for 2.5 months more than you have, they're going to have a conditioning advantage and some, togetherness as a team advantage that we won't have. But I wanted to play a good team so we could get ready for our conference play on the 30th.
So one thing, I mean, junior college, you pretty much have a new team every year, but you do have some returners. James Dunlop, the big 7-footer, is back. Najib Muhammad was a redshirt last year just because of an injury. And then Leo Gerardo and A.J. Herrera put in great work for you. So you have that core group of guys who know what you want to do, know how you want to play. What are the advantages of that, and how have they kind of stacked up to your expectations early on?
Well, I think all 4 of those kids are really quality people. So I think it helps that they're really bought in to trying to do what we want. And you don't, not to be negative, but you don't always have that every year with your returning players. But they're definitely on the same page with us as a staff, and they're working hard to get better every day. And I kind of knew what James could do, but I think since we've been playing 5-on-5 the last 3 days, really impressed with what Najib's been able to do, and then the improvement that Leo has made. I think he's, really improved, gotten stronger since last March. So
you mentioned Najib Muhammad. He was a standout at Democracy Prep in Las Vegas. And obviously, as a redshirt, sometimes I think a fan has a tendency, or even a broadcaster has a tendency to say, oh, well, he's a redshirt, he didn't have a lot of time. But he brings a lot of things, whether it's defense, leadership, just being able to see the floor as a point. What kind of responsibilities are you hoping that he takes on this year?
Well, number one, not turning over the ball. That's a major responsibility he has. And then I think, being a leader for the other guys. They kind of look to him. He sets the offense, and he's done a good job really with all the new guys we have of seeming to kind of figure out who needs the ball in certain areas on the floor, which that's sometimes hard to do in 10 days' time. But he's pretty unselfish, and he's not looking to score, which is, I think, important when you have so many new guys that are scorers and are looking to score. So.
Yeah, you talked about 2 traits, I think, that sound like it's just what the doctor ordered, right, or just what the coach asked for, in terms of you have such a diverse group of guys when it comes to skill sets. How have you and your assistant coaches, Carter Rowe and Kyle Isaacs, gone about evaluating this group and trying to figure out what rotations might look like when it is such a narrow window?
Yeah. Well, so we weren't able to play 5-on-5 until Thursday. So the first 10 days, I was really just watching guys shoot a lot trying to get them in conditioning shape, kind of seeing how they move, like in our defensive drills. But I think the main thing you've got to do when evaluating is see how they play 5-on-5. And I thought, our scrimmage on Thursday was really good, and then guys yesterday when we scrimmaged again were super fatigued. So it kind of helps me know, like, okay, we had 3 or 4 guys that I thought did pretty well the second day. So it lets me know, okay, these guys can fight through some adversity, where we have a lot of freshmen that have never fought through adversity before. So those kind of things are important in evaluation. And then I think it's going to be a work in progress. I'm planning on, against Snow on Wednesday, we're going to try to win the game, but I'm going to treat it like a scrimmage and rotate 5 guys for 5 guys the whole first half, and then in the second half kind of go with who I think the better group of those 10 is.
So I think that's something, and not to tip the hand too much, but with such a deep group of new guys, guys who you're learning to, anybody impress you with just work ethic, how they're meeting your expectations so far?
I was really been pleased with Marquise Hargrove, Jalen Patterson. I think they've both done a good job to this point.
Shout out to the Sacramento area.
Yeah,
got a lot of family up there, so they're well versed in what those two can do. Yeah,
pleased with their efforts. I think obviously our inside guys, and I didn't touch on James. James has improved from last year to this year, and then I think Yaxel Lindenborg and Marvin Pitts are going to help us some in there. Last year we played James some, and then with a smaller lineup at times where we were playing, when Jalen Townsend was out, we were playing guys that were 6'3" and under in our starting lineup, all 5 guys. But I feel like we're going to have 3 big guys that can give us some minutes and some relief at that 5 spot. So that's going to and they're all kind of different, but I think it's just nice to have bodies because those guys get in foul trouble.
Oh, absolutely. And that's something that you have to adjust to, and it's kind of a season of adjustments. We just made the announcement the other day that they're not going to be fans, at least to start the season, in the building. And then you look at this schedule, and there's really no off days because instead of playing everybody twice, you play everybody 4 times. So when you think about some of those things and how that's different, how do you approach it, and how have you communicated to the guys on how to approach it?
Well, I think just the schedule is so different. Like there's 3 weekends where we're playing back-to-back games, and so playing Friday night, Saturday afternoon. So 6 of our 19 games are like that, So there's going to be longer breaks sometimes between the games, and then there's going to be games, boom, boom, boom. So that's why I think conditioning and depth are going to be more critical this year. And I watch games on TV, and I realize that your team kind of has to have more support of each other than in the past, because you watch games on TV where teams get ahead 10 or 15 points, and there's no fans to either help them push it forward or to get the other team back in the game like was normal. And we have a great home court advantage. So we're not going to have that this year. So we're going to have to rely on our staff and our players to get us pumped up, which is definitely different from what is normal.
Yeah, I think the announcer tries to help a little bit, but you can only jinx a guy so much, right? Like when he's at the free throw line. When you look around the conference, I mean, how do you get a feel for how other teams have had to adjust? I mean, everybody's kind of going through a different situation.
Yeah, I know Cochise had to start a little later than they were anticipating because they had a player test positive. But they're back now. They got their players there a little earlier than we did, I believe. Eastern Arizona, I think they start school a week later than we do, so they just got their players there this past week. It's going to be interesting. I had only ever seen those 4 guys you mentioned in Dion play, you know. So everybody saw for the first time on January 4th here, unless it was on the internet,
right.
You know. So I keep telling all my friends there, how is your team? I said, it's the all-internet team, you know. But we're not alone in that.
Right.
Pretty much coaches all over the country have been evaluating, taking recommendations, and watching kids online. So I'm pleased with the group we got, considering the situation we're in, and I was pleased that they were all on board to stay with us the first semester, even though we didn't bring them to campus. So that was something that was real positive for me. So
you guys have excelled so much in the conference the last 4 years, been in the region final last 4 years in a row. Is this challenge refreshing in a way? I mean, not to take anything off of how difficult it is year in and year out, but is it something that is engaging to you and the coaching staff and the players to say, hey, we can't just be relaxed and go through the motions. We really have to be intentional about everything we do.
Yeah, I think it's important to be intentional, and I've always tried to place an emphasis on being as good as we can by the playoffs. You know, some people really want to win the conference, and we've won a conference championship here before, and I think that's important. But it's not always the team that wins the conference that wins the region championship and goes to the district game and then has an opportunity to go to the national tournament. I think you have to be healthy and have the best depth when you get to the end of the season in order to win. And last year we got to the region championship game, but we didn't have the most depth. You know, in my opinion, Eastern Arizona, the team that won it, did. And obviously we had some injuries and some things last year, but we were very fortunate to get to the region championship game. And but I think this team has the capability to win the region. Question is, do we all stay healthy enough from COVID, and do we have the region championship, and all those things are unanswered right now. But we're definitely up for the challenge if we have the opportunity. So.
Well, looking forward to it, Coach, and looking forward to Wednesday against Snow College.
We are too. Thanks, Tim.
Head coach Charles Harral. Matadors will be at home in a game you can watch on Facebook Live against Snow College Wednesday at 7:30. Pregame starts at 7:15. The women's basketball team opens up the season with a 3-game road trip to Utah Thursday night at 5 p.m. The Matadors will take on Utah State Eastern in Price, Utah, a game that can be live streamed via the USUE Facebook page. The Matadors will then head to Salt Lake Friday and Saturday. Friday, a 1 p.m. tip against Colorado Northwestern, and Saturday concludes the trip with a 3 p.m. tip against the Salt Lake Bruins. Both Friday and Saturday can be viewed on the Salt Lake Bruins website. Matador baseball, softball, and volleyball all gearing up to go as well. Softball will get going in Las Vegas on January 28th. Volleyball opens up at the Yavapai Tournament in Prescott February 4th, and baseball will have a home series against Colorado Northwestern beginning on February 10th. While we won't be able to begin the season with fan attendance at indoor sporting events, we do hope you support the Matadors by viewing the live streams at AWC Matador Athletics on Facebook, and stay up to date with schedules as well as the latest news at awcmatadors.com. On behalf of Arizona Western College Matador Athletics, I'm Tim Slack. Thanks for watching the Bullring. It's a great day to be a Matador.